Welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, passionate, inspirational speaker, author, poet, and entrepreneur. Good morning, and welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Today is Wednesday, November 14th. I want to give a big thank you to those of you who are listening in today, and here's a great big shout out to all of you listening around the world. I'm delighted and so very grateful that you tuned in. I sure hope you are enjoying a fabulous day today and that you're having a fantastic week, because you know what? In the grand song of the universe, life is very, very short. It's short and sweet and oh so precious. So I hope you're making a difference in your own life, because when you do, you also make a difference in someone else's life. Now, a lot of folks want to make their life count for something, and they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? Well, it's simple, very simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. That's what Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count is all about. You can learn more about Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's Gloria, B as in boy, URGESS.com, the Gloria Burgess website, or by visiting Facebook, and that's facebook.com/DR for Dr. DrGloriaBurgessPhD. All right. Today I want to talk with you about big rocks, a topic that is near and dear to my heart. In fact, we're going to hear from someone today who understands the power of putting big rocks first in our lives. Today I have a very special guest, Karen Aloy, and she's going to share with us about her life and work and some of the key moments in her life that have helped her understand the value and the power of putting the big rocks first in her own life, and how she supports others in doing the same in their lives. So, who is Karen Aloy? Well, like many of my guests, Karen wears many different hats. Karen is a leader in her field, and she is passionate about working alongside her clients to design and create solutions to the challenges that get in the way of their desired results. She's a passionate, lifelong learner, and Karen is also an imaginative, creative spirit. She's also a trusted friend. If I had to choose just one word to describe her, I'd say that Karen is inspired. Her personal mantra is celebrate the unique fingerprint that is your life. I just love that. Celebrate the unique fingerprint that is your life. Now, later on in the show, Karen is going to share more with us about what that particular mantra means to her and why it's so important in her life. As I think about Karen and the years that I've known her, another word that comes to mind is influencer. As I mentioned earlier, Karen wears many, many hats. She's founder and CEO of A Loyal Vision, LLC, and in her company, she's a consultant, coach, and certified public accountant, a CPA. As you listen to today's show, Karen will share her passion about her work and how she serves others. She'll also share a bit about her journey and how a pivotal event in her early years shaped and influenced her to become the person she is today. Karen is happily married to her high school sweetheart, and his name is Danny. She's also the proud mom of 2 grown children, and she says her life would not be complete without her 4-legged friends. Karen is a leader who makes a difference in her own life, in her family, in her community, and in the lives of so many others throughout the world. As I said earlier, to me, Karen is very inspiring. I met her through our mutual affiliation with the John Maxwell team. So I've had the very special privilege of talking with Karen about what matters to her. I've also been blessed to witness her passion when she talks about giving back and serving others. In fact, when I first heard her story, she was so passionate and humble. And I thought to myself, yes, this is a kindred spirit. Thank you, God. Now, another quality that I love about Karen is that she is positively committed to making a difference in the world, and in particularly making a difference, making an impact in terms of giving back and serving others to transform their world. When you hear her story, you will learn why she's so fired up about making a difference, about making an impact on the world in this way. We are truly blessed to have her as one of our honored guests on the show. In many ways, in her love for people and serving others, Karen pulls together many of the threads of what my own life and work are all about. In fact, you've heard me talk about these threads and themes on this show. The themes of gratitude, love, authenticity, courage, generosity, compassion, hope, and possibility. Can I just tell you something? Karen and I had a fabulous conversation. I'm so excited to have this amazing person, this life-changing leader with us today. This is going to be an incredible show. You don't want to miss a single word of it. So grab your earbuds and put on your walking shoes, or grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee or a nice cool glass of water. Put your feet up, relax in your favorite chair, and don't forget your pen and notepad because you're going to want to take notes today. We are going to have a great time. Before I jump into today's show, I just want to take a moment to welcome you. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria. This is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining my show, or if you're joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. You're in for a real treat. I'm excited to have you listening in today, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day, so you can be inspired by the ideas and resources to make your life count. Today's program is all about big rocks and what a difference it makes to put the big rocks first in our own life and in the lives of others. I just want to thank you for joining me today and welcome you to this show, Karen, and I'm just so delighted and pleased to have you as my very special guest. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Gloria. It's just a joy to be with you, and always love our conversations and looking forward to maybe diving a little deeper into some of our previous conversations.
So, let's see. I would love to hear a little bit more about your life as a businesswoman. You're a CPA, and I know you do coaching and consulting. Could you tell us a little bit about your work life, Karen, and your journey perhaps to starting your own business?
Sure. Well, it's kind of, I try to make it, I think numbers are kind of boring to people who are not numbers people, so I try to add a little different flavor to my story. So I love to share that when I was 16, I think a sophomore in high school, we had classes that were not necessarily your true academic classes, so not, math, English, history, science. Mm-hmm. So one of them was an accounting class. And just because it seemed number-oriented, and I was, even back then, my first job when I was 16 was a bookkeeper, so to have a class offered in high school gave me an opportunity to see if I really liked it as much as I was enjoying this part-time job I had. And so funny to think back, again, you don't realize until much later how these memories come back. But I had seniors mostly in that class, whereas I was a sophomore, and they thought it was going to be a cake class and it was going to be easy, and of course it wasn't, and especially if it was something they thought was just, that's the only reason they took it instead of something they really enjoyed. So I spent the better part of that class helping the seniors pass that class, which is so funny to think so many years later that I knew back then that it was, I tell people, it's one of my first languages is math and numbers, whereas, Spanish may be somebody's first language, and history and science may be someone's first language. Numbers were my first language. Yeah. So wasn't it all surprising to go to college as accounting and finish my accounting degree and get that first job as an accountant? And so, I've lived and breathed it most of my life. But about 5 years ago, I realized I was kind of graduating up through positions in a healthcare organization and was getting farther away from the accounting and more into some of the other areas. I loved the challenge, but I knew it really wasn't my first language like numbers were. And as much as I considered it to be boring, I felt like it was time to get back to what I did best instead of jack of all trades, master of none is how I was feeling at the time. So I needed to go back to do what I do best first. And so I realized after having lived in my community here for probably 15 years then that in my particular area of the Panhandle of Florida, small businesses are really the bread and butter. We don't have large organizations, large employers. Healthcare is probably the largest industry, but beyond that, it's the variety of small businesses. And small businesses' biggest struggle is not having the resources that large organizations have at their fingertips. So I thought if I could bring all the experience I've had in larger organizations to small business, and small businesses grow in my local community, then everybody wins. Because if small businesses are successful, they spend more money, they hire more people, they have more chance for expansion, and that ripple effect helps our schools, helps our nonprofits, helps our employment, helps the economy in general. So there's a real motivation, if I want my community to be better, to help the businesses who then support the community. So nobody other than my dad, who started a consulting firm once he retired, I don't have anybody who owns in my circle small business, nobody in my family. And I have a big family. Everybody works for somebody else. So it was, a stumbling block of where to go, where to start first. But I consider myself an excellent student, a lifetime learner. And I just started reading and started studying and filling out the papers and laying out the plan. And as we say in the JNT world, just jump and build my wings. But it's been a real blessing for me because although numbers are my first gift, blessing from God, my real passion is for the people. And so when I help what I thought was just their tax returns and their bookkeeping and their processes, I have friends and I have family and I have people that I invest my time in as well as they invest their gratitude and their care and respect for me. And I say my clients are just an extension of my family. And when I help them, it's also about helping them walk their journey through their kids graduating and their parents aging and financial decisions and financial plans and their trust and respect to help them, again, stand next to them as they go through the ups and downs of owning a business and moving it forward. And to me, I realized, I talk to my husband and say, tax returns are not my favorite thing. I don't get up in the morning and say, woohoo, I can't wait to fill out another form. But when I sit with a client across the table and I see them and their stress reduced and I feel their confidence and their relief in knowing that, we've got one more year checked